Right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your show and to be talking about the aviation industry, especially in the area I work, which is airspace management. My name is Shola John, like you have rightly said, and I work with a department called Aeronautical Information Service. We are part of a larger department called Air Traffic Services. I'm sure I'll talk about all of that later. I joined the aviation industry, I think about 10 years ago. This month actually makes it 10 years that I've been in the aviation industry. And of course, I came in as a novice, like every other person. Whatever course you study when you come into the aviation industry, you will have to be trained. It's highly regulated, professional field that you just need to be trained, except for maybe few courses where you are in the admin department, human resources. Those ones with your conventional knowledge from the university or from your higher institution, you can readily fit in. But when we talk about operations and some other technical aspects, certainly you will have to be trained, because the training gives you understanding of the job, the recommended and the standard practices, and help you to be acquainted with the annexes. I'll talk about those ones also later. So I came in as a novice. I was employed, and I was supposed to take the training almost immediately after resumption, but the training did not happen until 3 years after the formal training. That means the training I had was informal, on-the-job training, where your supervisors will put you through and guide you. So from that humble beginning, I serve as the head of department of my station today, Zaria Station. So I'm the head of department. And so it's been from one level of training to the other, one commitment to the other, and then one has been able to be found faithful and then competent on the job. So responsibility could be committed to my hand. I think it was sometimes last year, 2020, March 2020, precisely, that I assumed the position of the head of department for the Zaria Station. And then on a larger body, of course, we have an association of all the professional members of Aeronautical Information Management in Nigeria. So I'm the national PRO, serving as the PRO for the second term, recently re-elected May 15, 2021, after 3 years term. It's been quite an interesting journey, of course, and of course I love the aviation industry. I enjoy every bit of the job. So when we say NAMA, of course, I know there's a conventional Hausa word called NAMA, which is beef. But this is an acronym for Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. And as the name implies, what basically we do is that we're in charge of the airspace. We manage the airspace, or what we call air navigation services provider. So we provide services for the use of airspace, especially for civil aviation. We have for civil and military, but permit me to say that, but for civil and military. So how the Nigerian airspace is used for flying of aircraft, drones, anything that flies in the airspace. This agency is in charge of providing the services that is required. And of course, a lot of services are required before any object can fly in the airspace. And so what is our mission? Our mission is to provide safe, efficient, effective, and economic air navigation services to airspace users. Okay, and how do we do this? We deploy new technologies and dedicated workforce. So basically, what I have just said now is we want to ensure that any object or aircraft that is flying in the airspace is safe. They fly through the most efficient and effective means. Okay, so they don't have to be wandering all over the airspace. They need to know the route that is going to take them from where they are going to where they are taking off from, and that is also economical. Okay, there are routes that are economical, but may not be safe, and there are routes that are safe and may not be economical. It's our work to make sure that you fly safe, and then the route is economical, especially in terms of fuel consumption and flight levels and all that is required for every airspace users. And we do this by making sure that our technologies are up to date and we have dedicated workforce. There is a technological part. So what are some of these air services we talk about? We talk about communication gadgets, equipment. Pilots need to speak with controllers. I will explain all of that later. So we provide the communication equipment. We talk about navigation equipment that will help aircraft to be able to know the route they're flying and get to where they're going. We talk about surveillance equipment and so many other services that we provide for airspace users. We have what we call the air traffic control. Air traffic services includes air traffic control. And air traffic control are the people we call controllers. In an airport, there is a tower that is usually very high up there, tall. There are some people sit down there. They are the one that give instruction to the pilots. They tell the pilots when to start the aircraft engine. They tell him to taxi. They tell him when to take off. He doesn't just do those things on his own. Some people give him instruction. These people are called controllers or air traffic controllers. A lot of people think that the people that used to hold flag and then they are waving into the aircraft, they are the controllers. No, they are not. You don't see the controllers, they are in the control tower. So when you get to the airport, you will always see a tower that is in the airport, sometimes standing alone, is the air traffic controllers that are there. Then you have another department under air traffic services that is also called Aeronautical Information Service Department. This Aeronautical Information Service Department, they are the one that provide all the information. They are the custodian of all the information that the airspace users use or the related services, including the military, including the airlines, the pilots, the crew members, the airline owners. So what this department does is they collect information, relevant information to flying or to operations of an airport. They collect the relevant information, they process it, and they disseminate it to people who are in need of the information. For instance, if an airport is closed, you need to know about it. If you don't know about it, you fly there. When you fly there, you have wasted fuel, wasted people's time, and sometimes it could lead to an accident. Or it could lead to a crash. So what do? This department will quickly get the information. They will promulgate something that is called NOTAM and send it to everybody involved so that you know ahead of time you are going to a particular airport, but these are the facilities that are there, or the airport is closed. Once you have those timely information, you decide whether to go there or not to go. Is it safe? Is it not safe? That's what this department does. Now, to work in the air traffic control, for instance, you need to have a science background. In this department I have just mentioned also geography, natural science, and courses, and then a sharp-minded person can work in this department. Like I said, you will still be trained after you are recruited. So you have that department. You also have aeronautical communication also. The comms department, they are in charge of transmission. So this same department that I mentioned earlier on, AIS, Aeronautical Information Service, they also do what is called flight planning. Not only do they provide information, they plan your flight. When you get there, you will complete a form, which I'm going to show you later. You complete a form. When you complete this form, that form is what tells where you are taking off from, where you are going, when you are landing, and all the information that we need. In case also the plane crash, how do they identify it? You put your marking, your name, and all the information that is needed. This department is in charge. There is also a chart. There are many charts that pilots use. This department is in charge of producing the chart also and making it available to airspace users. And so You have the comms department. The comms department is in charge of transmission of this flight plan I just mentioned. They transmit it to the station you are going to, the alternate aerodromes at the alternate airport. In case you can't land in the first place you want to go, the second place you can land. And, so they provide those communication services also. Then you have other departments like the engineering department. Okay, the engineering department, we have the access and then you have the electromechanical. The access are in charge of ensuring that all the equipment that we use both for communication and navigation are in good state. So every day we have the NDB, we have the VOR, we have quite a lot of equipment, and then they ensure that these equipment are functioning properly, including the radios that the comms use, including the radio that the controllers use to talk to pilots. They are in charge of making sure that these equipments are working well. Then you have the electromechanical department. The electromechanical department, they service all the equipment we use on the ground, okay, including our generators, the AC, those equipment that we need to work well, to have the right environment and the right atmosphere to be able to work. They are also there. Then there is the commercial department. The commercial department is in charge of billing. All the aircraft you see that are flying in Nigerian airspace, they pay for navigation charges. To be able to fly in Nigerian airspace, you pay a certain amount of money because the people that are providing the services for you, they are paid salary also. So you pay the money they use to pay them their salary and to maintain the equipment that you use to fly. So you have the commercial department. You also have the stores. The stores department, they're in charge of the spare parts that we use for all our works, all the tables, all the chairs, and all the equipment that we use, the ACs, and even the equipment, the radios, all the equipment that we use. The store department is in charge of it because they ensure that they give the spare out when they are needed. Then you have other departments also, like the drivers. They are very key people also because you need them to be able to do runway inspection, to be able to move to where your equipment are. So you have a department like that. You have the finance department, the account department. They are in charge of collecting the revenue from these people after the commercial department have billed them. The finance will collect the revenue and then they pay the salaries of the staff, they pay the contractors that are doing the work. So also you have another department, not just the finance department, you have the HR and the admin. They are the human resource department that ensure that staff are promoted when they should. If staff have complaints, they are listened to. So these are the various departments that are functional within the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. Legal department, legal services. In case there is a legal issue, they are there. There is the ICT, those who provide the technical support for our systems, those who ensure we have internet to work well, they are there. And statistics, quite a number of departments are under this agency just to make sure that we are running. Of course, there are those we call line staff, okay, and then supporting staff. That is those who are directly involved in what we do, and then those who provide services for this work to be done properly. So all the departments I've mentioned, they fall into both categories. You can study in Nigeria and work in any of the departments. Basically, most of the people working in the organization study in Nigeria. The most important thing is to study a relevant course, to be on the lookout for when there is advertisement, and then apply. And then if you get the employment, you will be trained. But like I like to say, when it comes to issue of jobs, I like people to understand that it isn't just about applying and getting a job. Okay, when you have opportunity to do your internship, IT, you can come into NAMA in any airport and try to build a relationship, do your IT there. When it's time for you to serve, if you can have the privilege, you serve with them. And if after service you have not got a job, you can volunteer. I know 2 ladies who volunteer in my former station, and they did it for 3 years post-graduation. And they were paid just about 10,000 naira each. That was too meager for anything, but they stayed put. After 3 years, there was an opportunity, and they were brought into the system. because sometimes they do recruitment and they will consider people who are supporting staff, who are contract staff, people who are casuals. So they move them from one department to the other because they have been in the system. So they give them priority before bringing someone from outside. So I tell people, when you are looking for a job, the course you study matters. If you want to work in this organization, it does matter because there are certain courses that will be able to work in certain places. Sciences, like I have said, natural science, like I have said, and some other courses. But even if with the course you study, you get into the job, you will still be sent to Nigerian College of Aviation Technology or elsewhere to go for training. And in this training, the pass mark in aviation school is 75%. That means you have 75%, you have passed. Now, in conventional university or higher institution, I think it's 50%. So here you have 75%. And you don't want to go with a P, ordinary pass, like having 50 all around. So 75 is the least. So you are aiming at 80, 90, possibly 100. So you study the course, you apply when there is open advertisement, and then you get recruited into the job, and then the training continues from there. So yes, you can study in Nigeria and you can work in Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. But if you have studied already and you don't have a work yet, I will advise that you go volunteer if you think that is where you want to work. Volunteer your service to any of the stations, and then maybe when they have opportunities, they can bring you in. Even if they don't eventually bring you in, you will have gained some experiences that you can use elsewhere. Every flight begins from what you call briefing. Pilots usually do their own pre-flight briefing in their flight room, where they talk about where they want to go and all of that, what's the purpose of the flight and all of that, which aircraft are they going to use and all the basic things. But when it comes to our job, it begins with flight planning. The crew come for briefing where they tell us where they want to go. So we give them this form. This is the form. This is called flight plan. As you can see, it's in 4 different colors. You see the first one is white, the second one is yellow, the third one is pink, and then the last one is blue. Sometimes it may not come this way. It will come in a soft form, that is in E format. So you can do it on the comfort of your table with your laptop or desktop or whatever. However, if you are doing it physically, this is the paper you are going to take. It's called flight plan. In this paper, you're going to tell us where, what kind of aircraft you are going to fly with. We call it aircraft identification. So you will tell us. You will tell us whether you are flying visual. Visual means see me, I see you, like helicopter, they fly visual. Or instrument. Instrument means they will be telling you what to do. You'll be using your instrument to fly. The pilots will understand this better. Then you are going to tell us types of flight. In Nigeria, we have scheduled flights. Those commercial aircraft, they go and come. They have time. They already have promised their passengers. We have non-scheduled private jets, and we have general aviation. Federal government flights are under this. They don't pay. Those ones don't pay for navigational charges. Then you're going to talk about how many aircraft will be flying at once. You know, the military, they have, if they are doing air show, they can be flying 3 aircraft at once. You will tell us. You are going to tell us the type of aircraft that you are using. We want to know it. You are going to tell us whether it is a light aircraft or heavy aircraft. You are going to tell us the equipment you have on board. You are going to tell us the cruising speed at which the aircraft is going to be flying when you are flying. All of these are part of flight planning. You are planning the flight you want to undertake. You will tell us the level you are going to fly. Then you will tell us the route. Where are you going to? Are you leaving Lagos and going to Abuja? Okay. Which route are you taking? You are leaving Lagos, follow Ilorin, Benin, like that, down to Abuja where you are going. So you are going to spell it out. And then in that case also, you will tell us where you are going to land, okay? Where you take off from, your point of taking off. You are leaving Lagos, you are going to Abuja. So you tell us that you are leaving Lagos. There's a code for all of this thing I'm telling you. Then how long will it take you from Abuja to Lagos? Based on your speed, and the level, you also have to state it. Then, if you can't land in Abuja, where else will you want to land? Because you could get to Abuja and there could be a reason. Maybe Abuja is closed, maybe the weather is bad. For whatever reason, you give us one alternate, and then you give us the second alternate. If you can't land in Abuja and you want to go and land in, for instance, you can't land in Abuja, you want to go and land in Kano. What happens if you cannot land in Kano? Then you can say, okay, you land in Kaduna or you go back to Lagos. So you give us the first alternate, the second alternate. Also, you will tell us other information like the aircraft you are flying, who owns it, who is the operator. Okay, what date are you flying? We want to know. Then you will now come and give us other information like the fuel that we call it endurance, the aircraft is carrying. How many hours can it fly? You don't carry a fuel that can fly, that is not more than 3 hours, and you want to embark on a flight of 4 hours. Nobody will approve that flight. You have to carry a fuel that can take you to where you are going at least 3 times. Okay? Just in case you can't land there, you have to go back to where you are coming from. So you cannot carry insufficient fuel and you want to do a longer flight. But we want to know what is the fuel you are carrying and how long it will take you to land where you are going. We have said that. How many persons will be on board with you? Okay, apart from the pilot, who are the other people? So those are the information we do in flight planning. Once you complete this and you have given it to us, the next thing is that this will be transmitted to the station that you are going and the alternate stations in case you can't land in that station. They will be informed. Then a copy of it will be with the controller, like I said. So the controller will use it to control the aircraft. He will record all the information. Then the pilot from the aircraft will now call to the control tower for a startup. And then the controller, because he has a copy of this and he's aware of where you are going, the controller is the one that knows the number of aircraft in the airspace, and he's the one that separates them so that they don't collide with each other. So he does the separation. So the pilot calls and said he wants to take off, and then the controller will tell him it's okay, he can start his engine. He gives him clearance to taxi from there, and then he gives him clearance to take off also. So from that point of planning this flight, everybody who is involved, they are at alert. So the controller, gives clearance to the pilot, he takes off and then hands him over to another station. Now, I'll explain to you how aircraft used to fly in the airspace later. But this is how basically it happens until the aircraft lands. And once it has landed, a message will be sent also that the aircraft has successfully landed. So from the beginning, this is the flight planning until the aircraft lands. Our work is not done. Here we have what is called en route chart, Kano Flight Information Region, ACAR. Nigeria internationally in navigation, we are known as Kano Flight Information Region. Okay? So when you see this word ACAO, ICAO, it means International Civil Aviation Authority. International Civil Aviation Organization. And so here we have a chart. A lot of people ask questions and they say things like, how to plane fly? There are no roads in the space. There are no roads in the sky. Yeah, it's a very layman question, and it's genuine. That is the truth. There are no roads in the sky. But in Nigeria, we use what we call ground-based navigation equipment. There is also satellite-based. What it means is that, like your handset, okay? You have your handset and you get signal on your handset. How do you get this signal? You get this signal because there are masts that are installed on the ground, okay? And these masts, they provide signal for your phone. And so, the same thing with aircraft. There are equipment that are installed on the ground that give signal to aircraft that are flying up. That is what we mean by ground-based navigation system. There are satellite-based. Satellite-based are those ones that work with satellites that are in the orbits, okay? Those ones pick their signals from up, like you have in your normal GPS that we use to know our ways when we are driving, Okay, but so we have ground-based. That means now the equipment we're talking about, they are installed on the ground. So when we look at the ground where they are installed, we get the coordinates, okay? We know the location. So that place up in the sky, yeah, there will be signal there, directly up where the equipment are installed. The exact point. That is how we came about this chart, okay? The department I told you in charge of this chart is the AIS. I forgot to say that the aviation sector is highly regulated, including the airspace. There are about 20 annexes that regulate how we operate in the aviation sector. 20 annexes and plenty other documents. Okay, they keep writing and writing, telling you what you should do. We have what we call standard and recommended practices. So here we have, as you see these lines, these are the routes, okay? These are the routes. And these routes are chosen not just because we just decided to carry biro and then start drawing line. No. These routes are drawn out based on the equipment that is available for aircraft to fly. Okay? So anywhere you see a line, it means that there are equipment that have been installed deliberately for the purpose of navigation and communication. So with this equipment, the plane will know the route. With this equipment, the pilot can speak with the controller and people that needs to be heard. So now you have this chart. Every pilot needs to know this. They need to have this. They have it hard copy. They have it also in their system in the aircraft because it helps them to plan their flight, like I told you earlier on. So there are communication facilities. You have VOR and DME, you have NDB, you have even the airports, they are all here. These are all airports that you see. These are airports, these are airports, these are airports, these are airports, okay? Then it tells you if you are taking off from one airport to the other, which route can you fly through? So here we have an airport in Jos, okay? And here we have another airport, okay? So the airport in Jos, there's another airport here. So if the airport in Jos is taking off and is flying to this airport, this is Yola. This is Jos, this is Yola. You can see that there is a route that takes off from Jos straight to Yola. Now, anybody taking off from here, it has been said that he's going to take off from Jos and the route he's going to fly, okay, 96 degrees, okay, heading down to Yola. And as he's heading down to Yola, this route that he's following is what we call bidirectional. It's a route you can take to Yola and come back from Yola. There are other routes that he can only take to other places, but he cannot come back with. That becomes a unidirectional. So he takes off and then he follows this route. And as he's following this route along the way, it has been shown that this is the alphabet, this is what this route is called. He cannot fly beyond a particular level, and you cannot fly below a particular level. There are other routes that you can fly to unlimited, but you can't fly below a particular level. All of these things are stated. As you can see, this is produced for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There are other technical details that I may not go into, but it's provided by NAMA. Okay, this is not the current one, but this is improved every time there is a change in the equipment or a change in Nigerian airspace design. There's a department called Airspace Design and Planning that plan it. Each time there is a change, this thing is also reproduced. So, but if there's no change, of course, it can be left for some time. Sometimes when there is hatch, they produce another one. It could be smaller, and then the whole idea is just to ensure that people who are flying, they have all they need to fly, and they are able to fly because safety first. That is it for us. We always say, NAMA, safety first. Your safety is our concern. There is no point flying if you won't fly safely. So, if you look at this chart, you will see that this green line is the map of Nigeria, and so this is the route you can use to fly all over the country. And there's nobody that can embark on any flight outside of these routes, because this is the only place you can fly safely. For those of you who study geography, you will understand a little about this, but they are all GIS. These are all part of the things you're going to understand, but a layman too can also understand with explanation. But basically, that's a summary about the en route chart. There are many other charts also. You have approach chart, you have down movement chart. There are quite many other charts. I think they should have 18 of them, types of charts that we use for navigation. Okay, there is instrument chart. So basically, that is all you need to know. This is under the Department of Aeronautical Information Service, but we also have a department in charge that is called Chart and Cartography. My advice to those who are interested in coming to the industry, but you don't know whether you can achieve it, it's important that you keep your dream alive. Okay, that's about the best thing that can happen to you. When you dream, don't keep it to yourself. Keep it alive. Even if you have gone to school to study a course that you think is not relevant, you can go back again. There are aviation schools you can go to go study relevant courses. If you think you don't have the finances, also don't give up on your dream. I met a pilot who used to be an IT person, okay, and then he had worked in IT for some years. He was able to raise money eventually, and then he went to flying school. Now he flies, okay. And then you think that you don't know anybody. I basically could tell you also, I didn't think I was going to work in the aviation sector, but it happens, okay? See how you can keep your dream alive, get closer to where your dream can be fulfilled, people who are already on the field, people who can encourage you, people who can recommend you, where you can offer your service for free, offer it. It takes you a little bit closer, but don't give up on your dream. With God, all things are possible. And I want you to just keep speaking it to yourself and keep having it. I've met a guy who didn't think that he will ever get into aviation school. I've seen quite a number of them. As I even work within the aviation school, I've seen quite a number of them who you think that you'll never be able to get there, and somehow God comes through for them. So keep your hope alive, and then keep your dream alive, and get closer and know more about what we do in the aviation sector. I think it is one school that a lot of Nigerians don't appreciate, because I don't see people applying to such schools like they do to the conventional institutions. Of course, I know it's a bit expensive compared to the conventional higher institution, but also it is a highly skilled, professional, and rewarding industry you can ever think of. So wish you the very best, and keep watching this show, because I know you are going to learn a lot. You are going to be a better person. Thank you.